Hello YouTube, this is Shadow Hero 90 and allow me to welcome you to my show, Sexism in Movies and TV. Now there are three reasons as to why I do this show. The first is because as someone who watches TV, and as a man, I really do think I should be able to watch an actual American show without constantly being offended and without feminism being crammed into everything. The second reason is that a lot of these shows are geared towards a younger audience, and it would really be good if anyone from Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon saw this and actually tried to make a decent role model for boys who's not a white knight, a complete sissy, a doormat, or basically someone who is worthy of the title hero. You know, to keep them from turning out like these pricks. Doormats and losers like these chumps. And my third reason for doing this show is because, I'll just say it, they're aimed towards children. And kids are very impressionable. If you put the wrong stuff in a show for kids, it's gonna send a lot of really messed up messages. Like convincing a boy that basically trying to have anything that's meant to be his is somehow a crime, or wanting time to himself is somehow a crime, or basically a little girl being convinced that she can assault neighborhood boys, younger brothers, and any little kid or male who's weaker than her, and that there will be no consequences. In fact, a lot of these shows do teach girls that they can do whatever they want and consequences do not apply to them. So, with that being said, feel free to enjoy the review. In this episode of Sexism in Movies and TV, I'm going to be ripping apart Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. You have no clue how sexist and hypocritical this movie is. It starts with a woman being burnt to death in a homicide case that no one can really crack. And here we have our leading lady and her boyfriend, who are both reporters working for the same paper. Now this woman feels underappreciated and wants to write a paper on the mysterious flaming homicide that occurred nights ago. Well, after much bickering with her boss, our leading lady goes to her friend here, who also works at this paper, and is part of the cult that will serve as the movie's antagonist. The friend gives her basically some information that would help her in this investigation/news piece, but as it turns out, this is gonna be kind of a trap, and this feminist idiot is gonna take the bait like the chump that she is. Which eventually leads her to this bookstore where she meets the ruler, High Mother, leader of the cult, or whatever you want to call this rotten cunt. Okay, then later on in the movie, she is kidnapped by the cult and drugged. Then she's kidnapped a second time, I think, and they nearly kill her boyfriend. Then, well, and then at some point the boyfriend is having dinner, Christmas dinner, with his family on Christmas Eve. And the cult shows up because they followed this bitch, and they murder the man and his parents for some, well, because they're man-hating pieces of garbage. Okay, so during the climax, our lead character here, Kim, convinces the chump, well, the mentally retarded man who's in the cult named Ricky, essentially by using her beauty, convinces him to turn on the cult and basically kill the cult leader in a way where she goes falling down to the streets. Apparently the woman who was burnt at the beginning was like a daughter to her, and Kim was brought into the cult to take her place in the cult. And the film ends with Kim taking in the kid brother of her dead boyfriend to raise as her own, because if she didn't, the franchise might have spun into a darker direction, with this kid turning out like the previous killers in the franchise, but only in a way where he's trying to kill her and slaughter women. But at the same time, if this hypothetical sequel happened, it would literally be justified to an extent. Now, this is where problems I really have with the film. If Kim's best friend had been the one who betrayed the cult, because the feminist who was running it was gonna kill Kim when she refused, that would make sense. Why this loser is in the cult makes no goddamn sense. They treat him like dirt. They essentially call him a parasite. And I guess it's because he's either deranged or retarded that they keep him around. They treat him horribly. I mean, imagine if this was a cult of men treating a mentally handicapped woman like a dog or dirt. You know that would never fly, and that puts up a very toxic double standard. But the biggest problem that I have with this piece of crap snuff film is the fact that it's 100% hypocritical. Throughout the film, the den mother of the cult calls all men parasites. That is so fucking hypocritical beyond all belief. They're the parasites. It's women who are parasites. Men built the modern world. Men built every bit of technology. Without men, there would be no government. Without men, women would not be able to do any of the bullshit things they like. They'd have to hunt for their food. And not to mention the fact that without men, women would not have made it past the fucking Stone Age. This film is hypocritical. They were the ones who burnt that woman alive for being heterosexual. They are the parasites, not us. Like I said before, we built the modern world. Without men, women would not have made it past the Stone Age. They're complete idiots. Men are and always will be smarter than women. Women are fucking idiots. And this movie is a goddamn snuff film. I have seen hypocrisy in TV, but on TV, but this movie is hypocritical way beyond all of those shows. This movie is trash. It is a snuff film. And in all fairness, it's the reason why a lot of these horror movies could use reverse gender versions. And in closing, the last three were good. The Killer Santa was good. This was bullfuck.